Undisputed. So, Chris, do you agree with LeBron here?
Well, first, I'm guessing that Skip senses an ulterior motive.
Oh.
But I won't go there. I'll be interested in seeing what he says. But I'm going with the Golden State guys, the Steph, Klay, and KD. And I've got 5 reasons why. Number 1, the pieces fit together better. When those 3, when KD went to Golden State, we had no questions about whether or not it was going to work. Because none of the guys are ball dominant. None of them needed the ball in their hands a lot to be effective and give you 20-plus points. Obviously, James Harden and Kyrie have been ball dominant. They dribble it a lot, which can make it more difficult to fit together. Now, they're fitting together great offensively, but theoretically, their games are a lot more ball dominant than the Golden State guys. 2, Golden State was better defensively. And I'm not just talking about Draymond Green, who's not even a part of this conversation. You had KD, who was younger, and I'm sure was a better defender at that point than he can be at this point, a little older, off an Achilles injury. And then Klay Thompson was a legitimately very good defender. He made an all-NBA defensive team. Steph obviously is in the category of Harden and Kyrie. None of them are really great defenders. The third thing, better shooters. As well as Harden and Kyrie shoot, and they are great shooters. Steph Curry is the best shooter in NBA history. So good that he changed the game. He literally changed the way the NBA is played because he's such a great shooter. And Klay is arguably the second greatest shooter of all time. Again, that enables you to fit better together. And certainly for today's game, the better shooters, that's a huge thing you have. 4th, no drama. They were low maintenance guys in Golden State. KD had a little drama, but for the most part, that's a low maintenance group. In Brooklyn, I love his game, but I got to worry about Kyrie. He was playing great at the beginning of the season, and then all of a sudden just went AWOL. Is that going to happen again? Is Kyrie going to be happy the entire season playing shooting guard? Or will he get the itch to have the ball in his hands more again? Even last night, why was Kyrie sitting out? I know they said back tightness, but I bet you he plays the next 5 games and is fine and plays great. Like, they need to be on the floor as much as possible. KD is legitimately injured, hamstring. But Kyrie, Harden, they don't need to be just sitting out to rest. All right, so the drama quotient is there. And then here's the final thing. Steph and Klay, before KD got there, they proved that they could lead a team to a championship. They proved they didn't need this transcendent LeBron or KD or somebody like that to lead them to a championship. They didn't need a stacked team. They did it on their own. KD was certainly the best player on those Golden State teams, but he went to a champion already. He has still yet to prove he can lead his own team to a championship, even though he was the best player. Kyrie hit one of the greatest shots in NBA history, maybe the greatest. But obviously that was LeBron's team. Kyrie hasn't had much playoff success without LeBron James yet. And we know Harden has yet to prove that he can lead a team to a championship. So for all of those reasons, I'm going with Golden State.
Well, I don't like to disagree with you, but I'm going to have to disagree with you. And I say KD is KD, so that's a push. And although James Harden is not the shooter that Steph is, he can do things that Steph can't because he can get to the basket and he shoots as many free throws. So we've seen James Harden average 35, 36 points a night. So I'm going to say, just for this argument right here, Chris, I'm going to say Steph and James Harden are a push. Now, because even though Kyrie is not the pure shooter that Klay is, what he can do with the basketball, Klay can't do. Klay's not putting the ball on the floor and finishing at the rim like this kid can. This kid has mid-range. He has the 3. He shoot you foul him, he go to the free throw line. He has a better all-around offensive game than Klay Thompson. So I'm going to give him the edge on that. They average about 5 points more per game. James Harden has basically said, you know what? I'm going to be the conventional point guard. I'm going to average somewhere between 11 and 12 assists a night. and my average is going to come down substantially from what it was the last 3 or 4 years. Skip, he was like 32, 33 points a game over the last 3 or 4 years. He's probably going to average somewhere around 24, 25. Not very many guys are willing to concede. Say, you know what? I'll let you slash 8, 9 points off my average or what I've been averaging for the betterment of the team. When I look at this, just those three, Klay, Steph, KD, versus James Harden, KD, and Kyrie, I ain't seen anything like this. There's never been a guys that can handle the ball, that can put the ball in the basket like these three guys can. No, sir. Now, they're going to have to pay it off,
What
Chris.
about defense?
No. I'm just
about defense?
Yeah, that's what I told Skip. The Golden State Warriors were a better defensive team. And they're going to have to pay, ultimately, in order for them to be judged correctly, they're going to have to pay it off with a championship. But if you just look at player for player and skills, this right here, we ain't never seen anything like this.
Thank you, Shannon Sharpe. Are you listening, LeBron James? And Maverick and Rich and Randy. Did you hear what he just said? Give me the KD nets. Give me the KD nets. And by the way, Chris, back to your first question. It was like 2 hours ago, but yes, LeBron has an ulterior motive. He's trying to defend his legacy here, and I do not blame him for that, but he's going to fail because we have never seen a three-man offensive firepower like these three nets. And I do think KD is a push, and I don't think he's lost much, if any, on defense at age, what is he, 30?
32, probably.
Yeah. But, again, he looks like KD to me so far.
Yeah.
Okay, and by the way, no drama in Golden State? Well, maybe it wasn't public, but, man, there was some private drama going on between KD and Steph, the jealousy that emanated there. And finally, KD versus Draymond got really ugly in the end, and that's why KD is no longer there. Okay, so back to KD push, because it's KD versus KD.
Right.
But, hey, I'm sorry, James Harden is just a better all-around player than Steph Curry. They have both struggled in the postseason because I can show you a bunch of Steph numbers when they blew that 3-1 lead to LeBron's Cavaliers, obviously. He came up even smaller than he is. So they've both struggled in the postseason. But James is a better all-around scorer than Steph. Look at 40-point games. James has 99 to 39 for Steph. Better point guard. James is incredible. He's like got offensive genius as a point guard that we're just see flourishing now. And rebounding, James is a triple-double waiting to happen because he can get you 13 or 14 rebounds, and he has in his career 51 triple-doubles to Steph's 7. So, again, defensive disruptor. Who's better? I think James is a better defensive disruptor than Steph is.
And what we're seeing from Steph this year, what we haven't seen in the past, we've seen him going to the rim more.
Yep.
Steph didn't normally go to the rim like we're seeing him go to the rim this year. That's a James Harden specialty.
It is. I would agree. Kyrie is a better all-around scorer than Klay.
Yeah.
Klay can get even hotter than Steph can get. We know that.
Right.
But Kyrie, man, he's got 130-point games in his career to 57 for Klay. I'm sorry, if you want to start going down to Draymond versus Joe Harris or whatever you want to do, then it starts to get
No, we just
sticky.
keep
I'm
it to
doing
the 3.
3 versus 3, and I will take the KD 3 in Brooklyn over the Golden State 3.
See, I think you're looking at it individually, and obviously those guys are great individuals. But I could have stacked up, if I stacked up LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love versus Klay, Draymond, and Steph, I'm taking the 3 from Cleveland all day, every day. And granted, we know Kyrie and Love got hurt, so they didn't play in that first series, but the first game. But I'm just saying, like, individually, I'm looking more as a team aspect where I need somebody that can defend. I need the guys to fit together better. I get where you're coming from because obviously those 3 guys are great. But what if they don't win? What if they win 1 ring in their tenure together? Can we really say that those 3 were better than the group in Golden State?
Well, they're going to have to pay it. They're going to have to pay it off with multiples. But I think the thing is what we're seeing thus far is that the struggles that I thought they would have, I haven't seen. This been a seamless transition to me because James Harden has been the point. Kyrie is playing his natural position, which is the 2, and he's been dynamic. KD is KD. KD can play 1 through 4 if he wants to. So it doesn't really. KD is the outlier because he was going to be unaffected by. He's going to be unimpacted by anything that they did because he's just that great. But James Harden has come in and done his thing. Last night. See, I'm not surprised by last night because James Harden just did that for the last 8 years in Houston. You see James Harden go solo, you get a couple of guys that can make some threes, and now he opens up the floor, and guess what he started doing? Getting to the hole, left hand, and one, kick to Joe Harris, Tyler Johnson, Cabarro.
TLC.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, now, but you know what, Chris? But when you look at it, yes, individually, but you must admit they played better together than you thought they would at this point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I envision real problems on the offensive end.
I did too.
And there's none. The problem is defense. If there's going to be a problem, it's going to be defense.
So, Chris, nobody I know knows the NBA better than Shannon Sharpe. So I'm going with his opinion about this. He's saying KD Nets. I'm going with Shannon Sharpe.
We got some. Hey,
it's over. It's done.
Hey, we got a can for him on Thursday too, Chris. We got a can for him.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.